Disclaimer. This video contains spoilers for Monster Hunter Stories 3. There will be spoilers on the monsters and monsties, as well as the story. If you do not want spoilers, please stop watching. This is your only warning. Okay, now enjoy the video. Bye. Monster Hunter Stories 3. As the title suggests, the third installment in the story series. I don't know what else it would be, and I don't know why I'm explaining that. But I've played the other, 2 stories games before, and I really enjoyed them. I thought they were really fun, they're really cute. I love Pokemon, so there's no reason why I wouldn't enjoy them. Monster Hunter Stories 3, as you can see, is a major up in just quality from, at least visual quality, from Stories 1 and 2, because, oh my god, look at it. Look at it, it's beautiful. Stories 3, it's beautiful. Other than the gorgeous looks of the game and a lot of quality of life that has been implemented into it, my favorite being the quick swap between monsties when you're out in the field. It was so annoying in the other games. I only ran on my Nargacuga and that was it. I never used any other monsties out in the field. So it was really nice because this game kind of allowed me to actually use the other monsters out in the field because I could switch between them so much quicker. My other favorite is making the monsties like their actual selves. And what I mean by that is that all monsters who could theoretically break through a wall can break through a wall. All the monsters that can fly. And everyone has a roar or some other type of deterrent, like Nargacuga, who has an invisible mode instead of a roar. So all the monsters just feel a little bit more like themselves. Now, I'm going to talk about the story here. So if you have not finished the game and you want to, stop here. I'm going to be talking about spoilers. If you want to play the game, go finish it and then come back. All right? If you continue here and you see spoilers and you get mad at me, that is your own fault. All right? Spoiler warning, done. Okay? The story of Stories 3 follows the same basic premise as the others. However, I think it does some things better than Stories 1 and 2. I think the best thing this game does is create side characters that are interesting. The Rider gang are all intertwined with one another, and I really like it. I kind of see them as like a found family kind of type of thing, you know? You got Ogden's son, Lucas, who's Gaul's best friend and Cora's wife. The MC was trained by Lucas. Thea was saved as a young child by the MC. And I feel like all the characters have very interesting dynamics with one another. Ogden and Thea are kind of like the bright and shining ones, excited for the next adventure, maybe a little bit reckless. Cora and Gaul are the more reserved types, the like protectors kind of for the riders. Gaul is constantly going on secret missions, ranging from securing funds for travel to dealing with assassins, you know. And Cora often embarks on missions by herself in nearby caves to investigate them. A really nice dynamic we have here. No one feels really one-sided, which I really, really like. I feel like in the previous games, you know, your MC didn't talk, so you didn't really have a personality. And the side characters were kind of one-off. I feel like for Stories 1, it was really only Cheval and a little bit of Lilia who had some sort of stuff going on about them. And with Stories 2, I mean, Enna and who was your Kyle? That's his name, Kyle. And Kyle were your 2 ones for that. So it's really nice to see a broader cast have it. I feel like the writer team is well balanced in not only their skills as writers, but also their personalities. Could they have done a better job at like giving them a bit more story instead of just the 4 side stories? Yeah, but I think they did a great job as is. I would have loved to see more of the group's antics together and how they work with one another, but as it is now, I think it's still great. They're interesting, they feel like characters and not just archetypes, it's great. But now, getting into, I think, my biggest, issue or disappointment with the game is Simon. Simon is, as you know, the MC's best friend, kind of. And I feel like Simon's situation, I feel like it's not handled very well. Now, I'm writing this and making this before any DLC or title updates come, so we may get more story in the future, but as of May 1st, 2026, Simon appears in like the first and the last chapter of the game. In the first chapter of the game, we get familiar enough with Simon as the player, but he is then taken away from us after Clarissa presumably kills him. I was so sad when that happened. You do not know how sad I was when that happened. The MC is obviously distraught, as I was, and we don't see Simon till like the last chapter of the game. And Simon as a character reminds me a lot of Cheval from the first Stories game. A kid who, after a disaster to his home village, seeks to be stronger, seeks to try and fix what happened. For Cheval, that meant training hard and being very harsh on his monsties, even working with Menelger, a scientist who sought to control monsties, kind of similar to how the battle-bound monsters are in Stories 3. And honestly, I feel like the battle-bound monsters are probably just Menelger's technology hundreds of years in the future. But that's irrelevant. It doesn't matter. Anyway, throughout Stories 1, you meet Cheval and you see how his mentality changes from being a friend to monsters to using them as weapons. If I remember correctly, you battle him at least once per chapter, I want to say. And let's compare that to Simon. He was taken in by Amora, likely to Vermeil, after his village got destroyed by Ancient. Vermeil gave him a deal that they would research how to cure crystallysis and cure him if he worked as a spy for them and went to Azuria. Make sense? All right. I mean, what is a kid like him supposed to do there? So he accepts, and then he goes to Azuria, where he later becomes a rider and friends with the MC. He spent likely years seeing how the riders in Azuria work with their monsties, how kinship is supposed to work, and yet the story seems like it wants to paint Simon as someone like Clarissa, someone who only sees the value in battle-bound monsters. But Simon doesn't seem like the type of character to have that value. And I want to point out this cutscene here. So this cutscene playing was really heartwarming to me. I really liked it. I thought it was really sweet. Simon tearing away at the battle-bound armor and freeing his Rathalos. But after the scene played, I kind of sat with it for a moment and had a wait a minute moment, where we don't see the evolution of Simon's views on monsties, his stuff with Vermeil, his crystallysis. We see very little of that as the player, which makes this scene not hit as hard as it could. We never see the personal struggle Simon has between battle-bound monsters and monsties with proper kinship like we do with Cheval. This scene in general, I feel like as the player we're missing important information regarding Simon's character, and it just makes the scene feel less impactful, which makes it really sad because I think this is really touching and heartwarming in the story's universe. I mean, ignore the part where he talks to his Rathalos. That had me losing my shit, but you know, my thoughts are kind of scrambled about Simon, and with my goldfish memory, I tried to write this as soon as I could after finishing the game, but once I got to the final boss, I got my ass handed to me, and I didn't play it for like 2 weeks, so... and I didn't write the script until after I finished the game, so correct me if I'm wrong on anything in the comments, please. To summarize my thoughts about Simon to the best of my ability, I think he's an interesting character, but could have been expanded upon more in the main story. Simon was likely following us or keeping an eye on us in later chapters after he recovered from his little thingy with Clarissa. Maybe we could have had a small quest following the maybe breadcrumbs that he left, maybe noticing something he left behind that the MC recognizes as Simon, gives him a little, hope. And this kind of ties into another major point of the story, the MC's mother, Amora. I think her character was interesting, but the reveal of her being one of the investigation people, I don't remember their names. I don't feel like that was very satisfying. As soon as I saw her and she was getting like singled out and like giving special treatment compared to the others in the group, I immediately was like, okay, hold up. This is Amara. This is just Amara. She's got like greenish eyes. That's Amara. And what do you know? I was right. Her and Simon are both making me think that we're going to have some sort of story release in a DLC or title update, because both of them feel very weird in their current state in the story. Not to mention that there's no post game. So obviously we're going to get something. But for Amara, we don't know what wiped her memory. Maybe it was something Vermeil. I don't know. That's my only thought. Maybe something with Ancient. I don't know. I mean, I just hope we get more story in the DLCs or title updates, whatever ones we get, that help round out Simon and Amara's characters, because they're both really interesting, but they just don't have a lot of screen time because of their place in the story, so I don't get to see a lot of them. And I want to see more of them. Let me see more of Simon, please! Anyway, on to the next point. The battle. The big war between Vermeil and Azuria. I thought it was an okay plot point. It was decent. It's kind of average for the stories games. At times, it felt odd, but I suppose a nation that uses a modern version of the battle-bound monsters would be more aggressive or quote-unquote evil. I don't really know if those are the words that I'm looking for, but it's the best I can think of right now. Clarissa's actions felt expected in the sense that her kingdom was literally dying, and she did what she thought was best for it. Though I'm still not really sure why taking the Sacrosanctum, a place with deadly monsters like fucking Savage the Savage Devil Joe or I'm gonna put it right here and you'll see which Devil Joe it is. And then we'll find out. I mean, there's also Malzeno there, so like, what the fuck? But a place with deadly monsters and close to the nest of Ancient, but I guess they didn't know that when they wanted to take it over. Whatever. You know, just in general, I don't see how the Sacrosanctum taking it for the people was a good idea, but at the same time, she was kind of backed into a corner, and she didn't have many options to help her people. Azuria wasn't really helping her either, so there's not a lot of options there. So, you know, the plot point, it was okay. It was interesting enough. I didn't really care about it too much. I think the relationship between the MC and Eleanor was cute. It was interesting. And I think that was the more important part of the war storyline, with them presumably ruling at the end of the story. That's at least what I took from it. But the part of this game that really gets my gears grinded, my gears turning. What the fuck is the... What? Whatever. The part of the game that really I didn't like, I think it was my least favorite part, is... Where the fuck is my Gammoth? Capcom? You put her in stories too. She was a royal monstie, but her growth style made her useless till around level 50 to 60. But guess what? When you have monsties at that level, you finish the main story. You also have access to Elderfrost, who's just a better Gammoth, and what world monster would be implemented that's ice into the stories game that focuses on GU monsters and world monsters? I know, fucking Valkana? So you make Gammoth and Elderfrost completely obsolete, and it made me so mad, because I did do the post-game and stories too. I did some of it, and you know, getting all the monsties. I got all the monsties. I always do that in stories game. You gotta do it. But I could barely use Gammoth. And she is my second favorite monster. because, you know, I've always loved elephants and, you know, prehistoric creatures. So take a mammoth and make it a monster hunter. Of course, I'm going to like it. But you know what? It's fine. I get it. They added a lot of quality of life things that might have made it weird for Gammoth to, you know, walk around in the area. Just ignore the fact that Glavenus and Astalos and Mizu are there. She's being left behind again. Fucking Gammoth, no. But, you know, it's fine. My girl's been abandoned. It's okay. I'll just go play GU for 40 hours and fight her. It's fine. Why, hello there, Nibble Snarf. My good little guy. Look at him. He's so cute. Top 20 favorite monster right there. At least I can use him. Oh, hold on. Sorry, guys. You hear that? Oh, my phone's ringing. Hold on. Sorry. Hello? Oh, hi, Bo, main friend. What's up? Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. Yeah. Okay. Okay, thank you. Thanks for telling me. Okay, bye. What do you mean Nibblesnarf is the only large monster that isn't a monstie? You know what? No. It's fine. You can take away my Gammoth. You can take away my Nibblesnarf. But at least I still have the sword and shield. They removed the sword and shield for longsword, bruh. Anyway, anyway, I'm not sure where I'd put Stories 3 in comparison to the other two games. It's been like years since I've played 1 and 2, and my memory is very bad. Take a goldfish and make it worse. That's my memory. Elephants might have been my favorite animal growing up, but I sure did not get the fucking memory span of them. But if I had to place them, I think 3 would probably be my favorite. Honestly, I think I can make arguments for all 3 of the games being my favorite. I think Stories 3 has a lot more to offer, and I really hope we get a DLC or title updates for the story specifically, as well as monsters. I swear, if you don't let me play as Nibblesnarf or Gammoth, I will lose it. I know the other games got title updates, but those were more Monstie specific than story, so, you know, maybe we'll get Gammoth. Who knows? But that's all I have. That's my Stories 3 review. Messily done. Happy hunting. Goodbye.